Thank you, Ariana. Welcome. Welcome, everyone, and thank you all for coming. Today, we will be more enlightened about what Delta College has to offer each and every one of you. Through its diverse opportunities and educational programs and student support services, Delta offers many avenues to achieve student success. That is why we're able to host this program today. Unfortunately, Dr. Richard Santana was unable to make it today. But instead, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Choco Latte.
Hello. They call me Mr. Chocolate. And I was asked to come here to give you a presentation. I was asked to come here to share with you some of my life and some of the things that I went through. Now, when I was asked to come over here to speak, they told me I was going to be talking to college students. So, some of you guys look pretty small for being in college. So raise your hand if you're a college student. Okay. All right. And then they told me that they opened it up to the community. And as soon as they opened it up, the school started to jump on the possibility of bringing students. And all of a sudden, we have high school students, and we have middle school students and elementary school students. So raise your hand if you are a high school, middle school, or an elementary school student. All right. Okay. Thank you. Now, coming up here, I was just trying to think about what I want to say to you and how I want to present myself. And I'm tripping out because I got to tell you, man, when I was your age, nobody ever came up to me talking about, hey, chocolate, let's go to college. Nobody ever said that I would have an opportunity to. Have you guys been out there to the pond yet? You see them big old yellow fishes and stuff like that? You guys check it out. That's a trip, right? No one ever said that I could be somebody when I grow up. I never had that coming up. Instead, I was being told that the best thing that can happen to me is that I could get killed or I could get locked up. Now, let me tell you a little bit about that, people. It don't matter, it's right. It don't matter, it's wrong. If you get told something over and over and over again, you start to believe it. And because I was being told that that's the best that's going to happen to me, man, I was getting caught up. And I was doing things to make this come true. I was, doing things to fulfill these stereotypes, these lies, these rumors about how I was supposed to be. I thought that was a good thing. I thought it was good to get locked up, to go to the pinta, and to get my teardrops, and to get out and become an OG veterano, and everybody look up to me, And I thought that if that didn't happen, well, then I'd get killed, and all my homies would buy those loving t-shirts that say, R.I.P. Mr. Chocolate, and I would be forever, And all I want to do today is I want to share with you how that played out in my life and how I was caught up into certain situations. Now, I know that the college students are here, and maybe, you're still struggling with this whole idea that you can, graduate and move on and maybe go to a four-year institution and so on and so forth. And I know that we have elementary school students here who are kind of like amped up about the idea that they could be the next, I don't know, Tupac Shakur, right? Or the next, who else? What are the other gangster rappers? Biggie Small? Booty who? And not to say that, those opportunities are not out there. But you're here in college, man. You're here, man. And maybe this is the first time for some of you. Maybe not. All I know is that for most of my life, all I ever wanted was for someone to show me that I could do this. All I ever wanted was for someone to, pick me up and take me to McDonald's or whatever, right? And bring me to a college and say, hey, Chocolate, you can go to college. And it's not like I've had a good life. You see, I ain't got no parents. My mama, she died when I was 3 months old. Y mi Chihuahua. Y mi papá? Y mi papá? Well, he walked out before I was born. So from day one, for me, my life, product of the system. My parents, the juvenile justice system, and the welfare system. And let me tell you something, people, I hated it. I hated everything about it. I hated how, like, the people from the welfare, they would come into my life. They would move me from group home to foster home to group home. And they would tell me stuff like, this is going to be good for you. But they never asked me what I wanted. They never asked me, what I was feeling. They made me feel like some kind of piece of paper, some kind of file, some kind of number. Like I didn't have no life. And then growing up poor, never having any money, having to go down to the segundas to buy my clothes. Goodwill, Salvation Army, whatever, right? And I'm going to tell you, man, when you come from where I come from, you do what you got to do. I'll go down. I'll buy me the pants. I'll iron them up. I'll be okay. But sometimes some of the other kids, right? The kids que tienen dinero, they have the money, they would make fun of me. They would put me down. They would make me feel like I ain't nobody. Like I ain't nothing because I can't sport some of the things they be sporting. Or I can't do some of the things they be doing. Like they're better than me. Because they got money. And then going to school. And I don't know about you, man. But I grew up in the barrio. All kinds of madness. You know what I mean? And, some of you probably live in some of the same kind of neighborhoods that I grew up in. And for some of you college students, you might be studying some of the neighborhoods that I grew up with. But I want to ask you a question. Can anybody in here tell me what the number one killer in the barrio is? Holler it out like I can hear you for reals, right? Meth, drugs? Okay, drugs, that's a good answer. Somebody else? Alcohol, good. Gangs, good. Peer pressure? Suicide? Okay. Poverty? No money? Ignorance? Guns? And I asked that question because you know what? Your answers, they're correct. But the number one killer in the barrio or ghettos or whatever you want to call them, stress. Stress, man, the number one killer because of the guns, because of the drugs, because of the violence, because of the ignorance, the poverty. Stress. That's the number one killer, man. And me, I was placed in a house of heroin addicts. In my house, stressful situation. Nothing was safe. I remember one time taking a shower, taking off my little gold cross that we try to keep close to us just in case, hanging it up real nice so that way when I get done I can put it on. I remember forgetting, taking off to my room so I could put my pants on, and remembering and say, I got to go back. And I'm going back over there, and just like that, it's gone. And me asking, who took it? Looking at that uncle, looking in his eyes, and him telling me, I don't know what you're talking about. Stress. Stressful situation. So for me, going to school was a way to get away from that madness. Going to school was a way to take a time out, take a break, not having to look over my shoulder, not having to deal with some of the pressure, man. I mean, why not go to school? All the homeboys are there, right? All the girls are there. Hubba, hubba, right? I can always find some food. I can always find something to eat. So I got all the reasons in the world to go to school. But you know what? You want to know what happens to me when I walk into the school? When I walk into the classroom, a teacher be coming up to me talking about, take out them glasses. Take out the trench coat. You are inappropriate. I am inappropriate. I'm inappropriate. People, do you know I spend time getting ready before I hit the streets? Now, some of you can't relate to what I'm talking about because you guys don't even iron your pants anymore, right? Man, I get up. Look at the creases, man. You see them creases, Holmes? I get up because I got to look as good as I possibly can. I mean, I'm looking at some of you and I'm thinking, damn, you could take some lessons from me, right? And if I feel good about who I am and what I represent and I walk into a class and someone disrespects me in front of all of my friends, man, how am I supposed to act? Dealing with the stress, walking away, trying to get away, how am I supposed to act? And so I get angry. And I start to curse out the teacher, thinking that that's what I'm supposed to do. Curse out the teacher, thinking that that's how I'm supposed to act. Curse out the teacher, not understanding one simple thing. And this is for you college students. Power, not understanding it. You see, our schools have power. And how does it exist? Plain and simple. Teacher over student, administration over teacher, school board, so on, right? It has power. But for me, I didn't understand that power because I come from the streets and there is a different set of power, rules, and so on that I come with. And so when I walk into the classroom, it collided, man. And when this teacher disrespected me in front of my wife, the only thing I could do is what I thought I was supposed to. And then you know what happened to me? I got kicked out. I got sent to the principal's office. Do we have any principals here today? Raise your hand if you're a principal. You're a principal? You're a principal? I would have never raised up my hand, but well, since you did, right? I walk into the principal's office. And the principal walks in and she looks at me and she says, what seems to be the problem, son? And I think, okay, you asked the question. Teacher doesn't like me. How many of you students ever use that excuse before, right? Teacher doesn't like me. How many of you teachers ever hear that excuse before, right? Teacher doesn't like me. Teacher doesn't like me, doesn't like the way I dress, doesn't like the way I look, doesn't like what I represent. Teacher doesn't like me. And as I start to get into my situation, because you asked, I get stopped. Hold up. The teacher says, or the principal, sorry, she opens up a drawer, right? And she pulls out this sheet of paper. And she opens it up to me and she looks at me and she says, you know what, son? We got these dress codes here. And you know they're for your protection. And you don't fit them. Dress codes. Dress codes. Now, I am not here to talk down or talk up dress codes. But one thing I did learn from this experience, how power plays out and how there are certain rules for gaining power. And these rules are in existence. They're everywhere we go. I don't always follow them though. And it's not because I don't want to. Most of the time it's because I don't even know them. So here's this lady pulled out this dress code, and you know the first thing that I got to think about? Can anybody here tell me where the dress codes come from? The principal? The school board? The parents? Well, what if I were to tell you that the dress codes were here way before them? Can somebody tell me when school started? Don't say 7:30 in the morning, okay? When I got on the bus, teacher. When did school start? 7:20. 7:20. When? 8:35. Gee, wow, 8 o'clock. When was the first school started? Ever? The 1800s, right? A long time ago. And they weren't, and I got to tell you this, they weren't thinking about me. They weren't thinking about me when these new rules came up and all of a sudden I was supposed to follow. And so when this principal says this to me, the first thing I think, here goes another adult individual ask the question, don't want to hear my answer. Another adult individual trying to silence my voice. And I get angry. Excuse me, Mrs. Principal. You want to take me down to your JCPenney's or to your Macy's to buy me some brand new clothes or what? Now, for you students that are out there, I got to warn you, that wasn't a very smart thing to say. Because you know what the principal did next? She reached into another drawer. She pulled out another sheet of paper. She put it down on her desk. She filled it out. She put my name on it. She handed it to me and said, don't come back to school until you come back with your parent. Don't come back to school until you come back with your parent. Well, I ain't got no parent. So what am I supposed to do? So there I go, walking out to school, angry at this teacher who disrespected me, hurt by this principal who could not take the time to understand the kind of child in front of them, trying to figure out how am I going to get out this situation so they don't send me to another home. And guess who stops me? Are there any police officers in the audience? Raise your hand so I know where you're at. Are there any cops? There's only one? They get out the car, right? They put me up against the car. They go through my stuff. They turn me around. They look at me and they say, why aren't you in school, boy? Well, when I go to school, I get kicked out of school for being in the school. And then when I leave the school, I get stopped for not being in school. So where am I supposed to be? And then people wonder why I'm so angry. People wonder why I'm so confused or why I do the things I do, why I don't have faith in the educational process. And what does it all come back to? The fact that there is power in the schools. There's power in the communities, in our country. There's power. And there are rules and codes for participating in this power that I had no understanding. And all I want to do today, for this little bit of time that you're here as college students, because whether you believe it or not, each and every one of you are a college student today, at least. I want to hopefully tell you about how to overcome this idea that you cannot gain power through education. And that's what this is all about. That's what this whole message is going to be about. And I say this to you because, like I told you, I was learning a different set of rules, a different set of codes. Coming up in the barrio, I was being told, as I told you from the gate, that the best thing that's going to happen to me is I'm going to get killed, I'm going to get locked up. Don't matter it's right, don't matter it's wrong. You get told something over and over again, you start to believe it. And because that's what I was being told, I was getting caught up into situations, caught up into things. And one of the first things that I got caught up into was drugs. Now, how many of you guys know about drugs? Raise your hand if you know about drugs. Damn, all you guys do drugs? I know there's always some knucklehead out there. I do. How are you going to tell everybody your business, man? Stupid. I got introduced to drugs when I was in the 7th grade. That's when my uncle, he got out the penitentiary and he became the man of my life. He was going to teach me how I was supposed to be. And one of the first things that he did when he came into my life, he came up to me, he put this bottle of vodka in my hand and he said, drink this. Now I got to be straight up, okay? When I was in the 7th grade, I was going through that change. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, so you guys know what I'm talking about. Little peach fudge, right? Little muscle. All I wanted was to be grown up. So when my uncle came up to me and he put that bottle in my hand, he told me to drink it. You know the first thing that kicked off into my head? Cool. I get to party. I get to be grown up. I'm down. But how many of you have ever tasted vodka straight before? Raise your hand. Okay. Now I'm looking around. It's all right, host. You're good now, eh? You can raise your hand. It's cool, eh? Now I know that some of you're going to turn to your homeboy or to your homegirl. You're going to be fronting. You're going to be talking about, oh yeah, I remember that time. It was so good. We had so much fun. It was so, man, that stuff tastes gross. Because let me tell you something, man. When I was drinking it, it was like burning me up inside. I didn't like the way it tastes. I wanted to stop. But my uncle, he wouldn't let me. And I was afraid of my uncle, man. He just got out the penitentiary. I was afraid of what he might do. I mean, he used to like to take me and my primos, my cousins. He would put us up against the wall. He would come up to us, pound us as hard as he could on our chest. And if we started crying, he would do it again. And he kept doing it over and over again till like the pain, it got so bad we couldn't cry anymore. And he was like trying to teach us about how we're supposed to be the man. You know what I'm saying? How we're supposed to be able to handle the pain and how we ain't supposed to cry. So when my uncle came up to me and he put that bottle in my hand and he told me to drink it, you know I was going to drink it because I didn't want him to put me up against the wall. So I kept on. Even though I didn't like the way it tasted or how it was making me feel, man, I kept on. Next thing you know, I got sick. Threw up all over the place, man. Barf City, if you know what I mean. Now, for you college students that are out there, I got to do a little biology, whatever, biology 101, right? How many of you college students ever got so drunk, or, I shouldn't even say college students, right? How many has ever got so drunk you threw up all over the place? Don't lie, You remember that time when you were praying to the portion? Don't lie, okay? Because I know. All right. Raise your hand high. All right. Now I'm going to break you off a little bit of information. Each and every one of you in this room is perfect. Each and every one of you is perfect. Your body is so perfect that it will protect itself. So when you know how sometimes you get sick, after a while you get better? How sometimes when you get cut, it heals up, it gets better? Your body is so perfect that it protects itself. It protects itself. So if you're drinking and you're putting something that is not naturally supposed to be in your body, and alcohol is not supposed to be in your body, man. You consume too much, guess what your body's going to do? It's going to protect itself. It's going to protect itself because your mind can't do it for you. So your body gets up, right? And it starts to do the things to get that poison out. And so all of a sudden, if you do too much, you throw up. You get sick. Whether you understand this or not, people, you OD'd on alcohol. And your body was protecting you by pushing it out. Now, here's the scary part. Once you OD that first time, everything in your body is up. So it can adapt to the poison. So you don't get sick. And it keeps adjusting and adjusting and adjusting. Eventually, it don't know when to kick in anymore. It don't know when to push out. I say this to you because I remind you, I grew up in a house of heroin. I hate the way I lived. I never had that. Exposed to alcohol. But sure, all while hustling, trying to figure out how I'm gonna get that next fix, that next drink, that next blast, that next hit. And now here I am, trying to educate you, trying to warn you. And I know some of you, you're gonna be looking at me, you're gonna be thinking, oh man, this guy is weak. I'm different. So I wanna be straight up. So that way when you go back to your classes, or when you hop on the bus to go back to your school, you can't say nobody ain't never told you. I don't care who you are, and I don't care where you come from. I don't care if you're white, if you're black, if you're Mexican, Chicano, Asian. I don't care if you're rich, if you're poor, if you are a boy or a girl. You're not bad enough for the drugs. Because I guarantee you this, if it gets a hold of you, it will destroy your life. I guarantee it. So my advice to you, straight up, don't do it, man. Don't do it. Because it ain't the type of Mary Jane, marijuana. Homeboy goes, Mary Jane, what about the marijuana? It's medicinal. It's natural. It grows from the earth, right? The Native Americans use it. That's a pathway drug, dude. And it leads to others. And I remember saying the same thing, Holmes. Same thing. Well, I won't do dope, but I'll smoke my marijuana. I won't do dope, but I'll smoke All of a sudden it was, where's the dope? I don't want no marijuana. Don't do it, man, because it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. An influence sex. Don't get excited. It's just a word. I can hear some of the guys are like, yeah, let's talk. No. And the sixth graders are like, yeah. Don't worry. That'll change. Now I want to talk to you a little bit about you little boys that are going to grow up to become girls are going to grow up to become. Now what happens when you get little together? What happens? The baby, man, girl, hold on. You're going called puberty. Becomes important. You want to impress. Okay? Are going to call it right.